It's eating you up inside, brother, because you're
clapping the grandmother of your best friend.
Today we're looking at r/confessions, a place where people go to confess a wide array of things, some things lighthearted and harmless, and some things not so lighthearted and very much not harmless. My old job kept paying me for months after I quit, and I never said a word. I quit my retail job a few years back. I put in my 2 weeks, said my goodbyes, and thought I was done. A couple weeks later, I checked my account, and there's a paycheck sitting there like I was still working. At first, I figured maybe it was for leftover hours or something, but then another check hit, and another. Then it went on for 4 months straight. I'd be sitting at home watching Netflix, and boom, direct deposit like I'd just worked two full 40-hour weeks. I kept expecting HR to call me or send a letter, but nothing. I didn't go crazy spending it because I was paranoid they'd want it back, but I definitely used it for rent and groceries. Then one day the money just stopped showing up. I never heard a word. It's been years now. And I still wonder if they ever realized or if some payroll system just kept me on autopilot until somebody noticed. This one's interesting. Because like you said, 1 week, maybe there were some extra hours or they're paying you out your like vacation or something, and I could see that maybe like slipping by my mind, and I'd just be like kind of like, yeah, like it's fine, it's just they owed me this, it's just an extra week. But then like for 4 months straight, I'd be getting a little paranoid. I'd probably have to give him a call. I mean I might go buy some Taco Bell or something, you know what I mean? Maybe a couple times, but I think I'd give them a call maybe like week 2, week 3.
Write that down!
Because it's like, oh, I didn't notice after these 3 weeks, my bad. But after like 4 months, yeah, I'd be pretty nervous. But I mean, obviously it seems like it just either somebody realized that they made a mistake and they realize that they don't want to get in trouble themselves. They don't want to get fired. So maybe you just got lucky and they didn't like raise it up the corporate ladder. Because I feel like if you were to raise it up that corporate ladder, then not only would they get fired, but then you would get a call from the authorities or something saying that you've been stealing the money and not giving it back. So in my opinion, I think you dodged a bullet, but I think you are lucky. And if this were to happen to anybody else, you might be cooked. So, hey, congratulations on that, though. I will never hate on somebody getting the bag. I've been throwing away my roommate's dirty dishes instead of cleaning them. So my roommates are messy as hell. The sink is always full of gross dishes that nobody wants to touch. At first, I was the one scrubbing everything because I couldn't stand it, but after a while, I just got fed up. One night, I took this plate that had been sitting there for a week with dried food welded onto it, and I just thought, nah, screw this, tossed it straight into the trash and didn't say a word. And honestly, it kind of felt amazing. So every once in a while, if something's really nasty, I don't want to deal with it, I just throw it out. I'll replace a plate or mug here and there, but mostly I don't care. The funny part is my roommates have started accusing each other of stealing their cups and pans, and I just sit there acting confused. They have no idea it's me. Yeah, I know, it's wasteful, but I think it's their fault for being assholes. Valid. I mean, listen. If they're not going to take care of it and they're just going to leave it there, I'm not doing that shit. In the trash. I think you could have maybe had a chat with them, prior to just tossing the dishes. Like, I am all for being petty. If there's dishes there and they refuse to take care of them after I did tell them that it's a problem, yeah, I might throw them away because fuck it. You know what I mean? But I think that you should have had maybe a talk with them before you just started tossing dishes, because now they're arguing and then you still have to deal with it. Sure, you're not dealing with the dishes, but you're dealing with them bickering in your ear and you don't want that. So, I mean, do you though? Throw away a couple dishes every now and then, but you might have to come clean at some point. Bought a house in 2014, never received an electric bill during the 7 years we lived there. Husband and I bought a fixer-upper in 2014. The house had flooded, been gutted, and the electricity had been disconnected. I distinctly remember calling to have the electricity turned back on and set up a new account in my name with our bank information. Electricity was turned on, and then we spent 3 months remodeling the house before moving in. Not long after we moved in, I was gardening in the front yard and saw the meter man pull into our cul-de-sac. I saw him going to other people's backyards to check their meters. So I told him I needed to put my dogs up before he went in my backyard. He told me, actually, this house is not on my route. Okay, I didn't think anything of it and assumed another meter reader would be coming in the next few days. I really never thought of it again. If there were power outages, I would receive text messages informing me when the power was expected to be restored. I also received a monthly notification that the bill would automatically draft in a few days. I never questioned it till around 2018 when we decided to change banks. I was making sure all of our utilities were being set up with our new bank when I realized the electric company was only charging us $7.30 a month for the street light. Our meter was running. I stood and I watched the wheels turn, but never once were charged for it. We finally sold the house in 2021 and we feared that it would get caught when the new owners closed, but nope, never a bill. No idea how this happened. Any ideas? Not paying electric for 7 years is crazy. I guess it really depends on how much you look at your bank account, right? Because I know me, we poor over here. So when I look at my bank account and I'm waiting for that utility to come out. Like every time I check my bank account, I'm like, I know that on this day, this much money is coming out. So it's like kind of a red flag, number one. Like, why aren't you looking at your bank statements? I mean, I guess unless you have an absorbent amount of money, then, you know, get your bag. But I feel like I would notice, right? And I would probably call, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you're getting away with it, but I would rather call them and be like, hey, I'm noticing I'm not getting charged for my bill. Our meter's running. Nobody's come to check my meter and get it figured out, because I would rather live that way than in my head, I'm constantly thinking, what month is the month that I'm going to get that big bill for, like, you know, $2,000, $3,000, like a whole few years of back pay you now have to pay because you thought you were being cheeky and you were getting away with it. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying you're a bad person at all, but what I'm saying is I couldn't do it because my anxiety would destroy me and I would have to call and get it straightened out. The fact that they're only charging you for a street light, I mean, that may have to do with, like you said, the house was flooded, gutted, electricity being disconnected. Maybe during that process, that's when they're essentially deconstructing the house. They completely cut off all meter information from that house while it's being worked on, because, I mean, obviously nobody's going to be living in that house while it's gutted and a bunch of flood damage. So that's probably where it all stemmed from, I imagine. But again, I feel like this is an instance of you dodged a major bullet. Like the person earlier who was getting paid from their work months after they left, at any point in time, right, that they could have figured that out and they could have came for their money. And then that money wouldn't have been there because they had to use it for their bills. Just like I'm sure the money that you should have been paying in electricity, you were spending on other things. Not saying you didn't have the money to pay it, and maybe they give you a bill and you pay it and it's done. But in my head, no matter the situation, I wouldn't want to go through that because it would just kill me knowing that at any moment I could get a fat bill for electric. So I think you dodged a bullet. I think you got lucky. Obviously, the house, it's not your problem anymore. You signed it all off. So, you know, maybe this time make sure you're getting charged for electric, okay? Because I know you're just trying to be a little sneaky, a little cheeky over there. I've been hooking up with my best friend's grandmother. You're clapping, Grandma? You were laying pipe down for grandma? I'm going to keep this vague and brief for anonymity. I've been friends with this guy for a while. He moved away and asked that I spend time with his grandmother so she doesn't get lonely. He's like a brother to me, so I agree. She recognized me from some events he had in his life that I was a part of, so we already had a rapport. For reference, she's in her 60s, and I'm in my 20/30s. Brother. There's no 20/30s. You're either 29 or you're 30. It's okay. I just turned 30 myself. It gets a lot easier when you just accept it. But hey, you do you. I sat with her and did some crafts together, like normal shit you would do with your grandmother. She asked that I make her a drink, and when I brought it back, she told me that she didn't enjoy drinking alone. I took the hint and made myself a drink. Fast forward 2 hours, and between the two of us, we probably knocked back around 6 mint juleps. So I'm pretty tipsy. Eventually, the topic got onto dating endeavors. She told me that I need to find a girlfriend before I end up like her, old and alone. I reassured her that she was pretty and didn't look a day over 40. Again, shit that you would say to an older lady. She asked if I could believe that she hadn't gotten off since her late husband passed. To be honest, that caught me off guard, both from how sexual the conversation had gotten and from the idea that someone can go over a decade without finishing. She asked if I would help her out. I won't lie. She's a beautiful woman, and the booze broke down my inhibition. I said screw it and said yes, and we hooked up. Damn. Since then, we've been hooking up semi-regularly. Of course, I feel guilty as hell due to her being my friend's grandmother. On the other hand, we're both single and adults. I needed to get this off my chest because it's been eating me up inside. It's eating you up inside, brother, because you're clapping the grandmother of your best friend. You're clapping the grandmother of your best friend. That's crazy. I mean, you're right. You're both adults. You're both adults that can make decisions on your own. But have you thought, like, did you think about the repercussions of this? You're hooking up with your best friend's grandmother because what? She's lonely because her late husband passed? She's old. Old people do old shit. They get old and they die. We're all gonna get old and we'll die. That doesn't mean you should go around clapping every old person that's lonely. I mean, let's be real. And you've been hooking up semi-regularly, so this is like a regular thing? Like, oh, Friday night, gonna go clap grandma. If my friend came up to me and said, just so you know, I've been clapping your grandma because she told me she's lonely and I'm single, so why not? I don't think that will jive. I don't think I could just casually invite you over or come hang out with you after I know that every Friday night at 6 p.m. before bed, you're clapping my grandmother. I don't think you can tell your best friend about this, though. I think you have to take this to the grave because there's no turning back. Like I said, once you tell your best friend this, that you've been clapping his grandmother, it's over. You're no longer communicating with that best friend. And I hope you wouldn't be communicating with the grandma after the fact either. So yeah, I just don't think I think it's something you die with. I think it's something you die with and you just call it good and you never talk about it again. You leave grandma alone. You've already done enough damage, clearly. Irreversible damage. Lay off the mint juleps and go on with your life and never tell your best friend because you got to choose between your friendship and clapping grandma. So that's going to do it for this one. If you want to see me look at more confessions on r/confessions, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.